Please adhere to YouTube's selected guidelines before viewing the content of this video. I do not encourage or condone any products, actions, or behaviors shown in this video. All videos are produced in a safe, professional, and controlled environment. Please do not attempt to replicate any actions performed during the video. All actions are performed by professionals.
Alrighty, so today I'm going to be unboxing a Tomica Snoopy car from Japan, which, to be precise, is the Dream Tomica 153 Snoopy Car II, which was first introduced in 2024 and which I received as a Christmas present from my parents. And as a fan of both, well, die-cast models and Peanuts, the comic strip, I am quite excited to unbox it for the first time today and to go over just what it looks like, what it feels like, and just what I think of it in general. Will I end up liking this Snoopy car right here? More than likely, if I had to hazard a guess. But either way, I'm looking forward to finding out. I do suppose, without further ado, I should probably go ahead and quickly cover the packaging. Then after that, I'm gonna go ahead and get the plastic wrap all off. I'm gonna get the box all opened up, and I'm gonna actually get the Snoopy car all out, and I'm gonna go over the look of it, the quality of it, and just how it rolls in general. And then after that, I'm gonna give you guys my final thoughts on this Snoopy car, and I'm gonna let y'all know whether I think it's a worthwhile purchase for y'all to make, and, well, I'm gonna give it a rating as well. But first off, as said, we've got to go over the packaging of this Tomica Snoopy car, which in my personal opinion looks pretty solid. It's a combination of both the classic Tomica packaging and a little bit of Peanuts packaging as well. We can see background-wise, we get a little bit of a yellow right here. It's just a little bit of a yellow with some darker yellow dots just kind of all over it, giving it a little bit of a textured look in my personal opinion. Then we can see a zigzag line in the middle right there, made up of a sort of like cartoon brush stroke. And then at the top, we can see there is a white background, once again with a little bit of a texture to it, and it might not show up on video very well, but the texture that the white has is actually the Peanuts comic strip panels themselves. Overall, the front of this packaging has a background just like Charlie Brown's shirt, which I think is a pretty cool reference in my personal opinion. On the side over here, we can see it says Tomica in Japanese. Then under that just says Dream Tomica right there, which is the line that this car is a part of. And then it says the actual model number, which is 153. Up here, it just says Snoopy Car II right there. Just says Dream Tomica above that in red. And then below that in Japanese, it says Snoopy Car II once again. Over here, just says Takara Tomy right there, which is, I suppose, the full brand name for Tomica as a die-cast model brand. And then towards the bottom, it just says Dream Tomica in English right there. And of course, we get a little Snoopy design right there as well. He's looking pretty chill, if I do say so myself. And of course, in the very middle, we get a visual representation as to what the Snoopy car is actually going to look like. We can see it's got some eyes, a little bit of a nose. It's white overall, some ears making up the doors, some red bumpers. Well, I don't want to go over too much right now per se. We've still got to get the car all out, but this is looking pretty nice and is getting me pretty excited to see the car inside this packaging. And overall, the front of this packaging is, if you ask me at least, pretty good looking. It really is a combination of Peanuts comic styling and the classic Tomica styling for their packaging as well. And frankly put, I think it looks really good. And I really like that they use the Peanuts comic strips themselves as the background on the white to give it a little bit more texture. I think that's a really nice aspect. And frankly put, I am a fan of it. That's really all that's going on with the front of the packaging though. So I do suppose, without further ado, I should probably go ahead and flip it just like that and take a look at this side as well. We can see it just says Tomica once again. There's some information right here. I think this is saying that this is intended for children ages 3 and up, or just people ages 3 and up in general. We get the Peanuts comic strip logo right there. And then at the very bottom in very small text, it just says copyright 2024 Peanuts Worldwide LLC. And then it has the Snoopy website, www.snoopy.co.jp. I didn't even know that that was a website, so that is pretty neat. And then above all of that, we get some more Japanese text right there, which I'm pretty sure just says, hey, if you want to learn more information about this car and about the Tomica Dreamline, go to this website or something along those lines. And as the background on the white, we can see that we get more of the Peanuts comic strips. Overall, a really nice look, once again, in my personal opinion. A little bit of red over here, white over here, with all the Peanuts emblems and logos and everything like that kind of thing. I like it quite a bit. Moving on to the next side, we can see that this is pretty much just informational. We get the barcode, we get some information about where you can go for Takara Tomy and everything like that, and just some general, just where it's manufactured and stuff like that sort of information. And then moving on to the next side, it's a bunch of more informational information and whatnot. Some warnings saying basically not to eat this, how to throw away the box and the plastic and everything like that. And that's really all that's going on. Moving on to this side right here, we can see we get a red background. Just says Dream Tomica up here with a white sort of square right here in the middle. It just says 153 Dream Tomica up top, and then Snoopy Car II on the bottom, and we get the exact same design on the other side. And that's really all that's going on with this packaging. Overall, I think it's a pretty nice combination of like the classic Tomica packaging with a little bit of a peanut sort of spin on it, and frankly put, I think it looks great. I do suppose without further ado, I should probably go ahead and grab a thumbnail real quick and then go ahead and get this plastic wrap all off and actually get the car all out. So let's grab a thumbnail real quick for the video. Well, hopefully one of those will do as a thumbnail for the video. Hold my eyes open for that long, cause them to start to water just a little bit, but it ain't no big deal. I do suppose without further ado though, should probably go ahead and get the plastic wrap all off, so let's get to it. Let's see, do I need my knife or can I do it with my hands? I'm thinking I need my knife, so let's go ahead and get my Kershaw scallion that I have in my pocket all opened up, and let's get the plastic wrap all cut, just like that. And let's go ahead and get the plastic wrap all off just real quick. I'm gonna go ahead and throw the plastic wrap in my backpack that I have near me in just a moment. Don't wanna be littering or anything like that, but this plastic wrap, it's not coming off particularly easily by any means, and it's kind of disintegrating. So I'm gonna go ahead and get my backpack all opened up so I can just throw the little pieces that are kind of coming off in as they come off. But there we go. All right, plastic wrap now all off. No complaints on my behalf. Just go and throw that in my backpack once again. Close up my knife and, well, momentarily, I'm gonna go ahead and get the cardboard box all opened up. Man, oh man, it looks, oh man, fantastic, fantastic, I gotta admit. No complaints on my behalf. This packaging looks even better with the, well, plastic wrap all off than on, and you know, overall, yeah, it's just pretty solid. Side, I have to say, paperboard packaging with a sort of printed texture to it. Nothing too crazy by any means, but overall, very, very, very nice, if I do say so myself. Nothing crazy, but solid packaging. Let's go ahead and see if I can get it opened up, though, without damaging it too much, that is. Let's see. Maybe I should have kept my knife out for this. I'm not sure. Ooh, let's see if I can do this. All right, so opening it just like that. Oh man, I bent it back just a little bit, but it's all good. I didn't damage it too much. We're all good. All right, so inside, I'm seeing a little bit of a barcode right there. There's some sort of code that you can put in on a website. Maybe that's some sort of like rewards code, like you buy enough Tomica models and put the codes in. Maybe you get some sort of freebie Tomica or something like that kind of thing. I'm not exactly sure. If you guys know what this does, let me know. And if you guys want to use the code, feel free to do so right there if it's exactly what I think it actually is. Let's go ahead and get these 2 flaps peeled back, and let's go ahead and actually flip this real quick, and we can see there's the Snoopy car inside the packaging right there. Let's get it out. We can see it's just in a little plastic bag right now. Let's get that opened up, and man, I can already feel it's a little bit cold, so this is definitely metal. Let's see. All right. So the base of this car is plastic, and there's really nothing too much going on the base itself, but the top of the car, the actual body of the car, is made up of a metal, and you can feel it, and it feels like a very nice quality metal, if I do say so myself. Oh man, just taking a look at this, just kind of rotating it around just a little bit. There's no moving parts on this car from what I can tell. Doesn't look like the hood opens or anything like that, even though there is a little bit of a gap between the fenders right here and the hood. So I was thinking, just looking at it on the box, I could see that gap, and I was like, maybe the hood opens. It does not appear that that is the case though, but I don't mind one bit. This is still pretty dang awesome. Oh man, all right. Well, very, very, very cool. There's not an insane amount of detail by any means. It is a much more simple car than not, but overall, it looks really dang nice. It looks really dang nice. Let's go ahead and start off with the bottom of the car. The bottom of the car is made up of a red plastic, and right here we can see it just says Tomica, copyright Tomy, right there, and then it just says 2023. I guess that's probably when this model was technically first like engineered and created, but it wasn't released until 2024. Under all of that in white, it just says copyright 2024 Peanuts, which is the actual release year for this model. And then under that, it just says made in Vietnam. We can see the screws holding everything together up front and in the back as well. We can see some axles right here and everything like that. And we can see the wheels themselves, which are insanely thin. But I love that. I love that they're so thin, because on a lot of like die-cast models, especially ones that cost under like $2 or $3, like this one right here, if I had to hazard a guess, this one probably costs less than $2 or $3. A lot of the wheels that are used tend to be all like one standard size, but that is not the case with this model right here. These are super thin wheels, and I really, really, really like that they are. They're also completely beigey white, just like the body of the car as well. And let's go ahead and now cover the body of the car. Starting off at the front, we can see there's a little bit of a bumper right here made up of that red plastic. It kind of wraps around from the bottom, and we can see the same on the back as well. Another red bumper right there. We could see the fenders right there. We could see the hood itself, which has Snoopy's eyes and nose right there. And while the eyes themselves are just painted on, the nose itself, it's not just painted on, it's actually got a little bit of three-dimensionality to it, which I think is really nice. Taking a look at the windscreen, we don't see any windscreen wipers, but we do see Snoopy's eyebrows just right there. And on either side, on the doors right here, and one aspect I really like is that they still included a door handle and the door hinges, which are mounted on the outside of the car. That's not something you see on a lot of modern cars, but of course this is more retro stylized than not, so it does make sense for there to be hinges on the outside, and that's an aspect that I really like, I'll acknowledge. But on the doors themselves, we can see we get a black design, which are meant to look like Snoopy's ears. And then on the very back right here, we get what looks like a little spot on the back. Maybe there's a little spot on the back of Snoopy. And then there's his tail right there on the tailgate, which is meant to look a little bit more like a pull-up thing to pull up the trunk. than not, but that's actually Snoopy's tail with a little black spot on it. And once again, we can see the hinges are on the outside. The overall color for this Snoopy car is very much that of a, I would have to say, like off-white slash like slightly beigey white, and it's a color that I like a lot. And I definitely prefer this color over something like, let's say, just a flat, boring white. I think this sort of off-white, got my tongue stuck in my teeth for a second there, bit my tongue, but I like this off-white more than I think I would like this car and this color if it was a more flat, just modern, boring white. But due to the sort of yellowed off-white, the sort of beigey off-white, it gives this car a little bit more of a vintage look to it, even though it's not. And I really, really, really like that. And one other thing I really like as well is that this car actually has a full interior. Of course, since this car is from Japan, it is indeed right-hand drive. We can see the steering wheel right there. And the interior is made up of that off-white once again. Since it's plastic rather than metal, it has a slightly different shade to it, and I'd have to say maybe it's a little bit darker, but it's overall that off-white overall. And yeah, the interior is nothing too crazy by any means, but we get a back seat back there that we can see through the back window. We get passenger seat, or sorry, not a passenger seat. This is a Japanese car. We got a driver's seat right there and a passenger seat right there, and there's like a very large gap in the middle, which I guess passengers can kind of walk through to sit in the back seat. Overall, it's a pretty simple interior. There's no actual instrument cluster or gauges or anything like that. But one thing I am noticing is that when you look at the very inside, we can actually see right there, there is actually, well, a slot for your feet to go in. So they've actually made this car actually, well, be able to actually, you'd actually be able to sit in this car if this was a full-size car kind of thing. Like, if they just sized this up to being the size of a real car, you could actually still sit in this, maybe not drive it because it wouldn't work. It's still a die-cast model, just a life-size die-cast model at that point. But since it's actually got the like footwell for the driver, I think is really the right way of putting it, you could actually sit in this car and hold onto the wheel just like it's a normal car, which I think is really dang cool. And that's something, that's an aspect that I really like. Overall, yeah, there's not too many crazy details going on with this Snoopy car by any means, but the details that are there are nice references, and overall, I gotta admit, I'm a fan. I really like just how this car looks. It looks almost like a like Lupin III car in my personal opinion, which I think that is actually a Fiat 500. This definitely is not a Fiat 500. This is a custom-made like model for Tomica and stuff like that kind of thing. But it's got that sort of like Fiat 500, I'd have to say like 1950s sort of aesthetic to it. And I really, really, really like that. I don't know exactly what car would look most similar to this one, but probably some, maybe Subaru or maybe like Toyota from the 1950s. Maybe. I'm not exactly sure in all honesty, but I really like the vintage look of this car. And one thing I'm just now noticing, the front windscreen, if we take a look at the very top up there, there's actually a design in the plastic itself to make it look like this car has a rear view middle mounted, well, rear view mirror. Yeah, this car has a middle top mounted rear view mirror embedded into the plastic of the front windshield. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. The two side windows are windows. They're not open by any means, but yeah, no, this is pretty cool. This is pretty cool. And I gotta admit, I quite like this Snoopy car. How well does it roll though? Pretty good in my personal opinion. I'm gonna set it down on the table I'm sitting at right now, and I'm just gonna roll it. Rolls straight. Not a lot of ground clearance by any means. It is pretty low. So like even just going over my sort of like fingers and stuff like that, it's definitely bottoming out just a little bit, but rolls very easily, even on a little bit of a rough surface. And, you know, overall, while this car doesn't weigh the most by any means. It does have some weight to it. And so as such, I think if you wanted to send this down a Hot Wheels track or something along those lines, I think it would do perfectly fine. And overall, yeah, I'm a fan. I quite like this Snoopy car. The build quality is fantastic. There's no sort of aspects of the car where I'm looking at it and I'm like, the build quality is shoddy in this one area. It's all overall as a complete piece. Fantastic build quality, I'll admit. Detail-wise, the bottom is lacking just a little bit, but this is also a Dream Tomica. It's a make-believe, not real car, so why would I expect there to be a lot of detail on the bottom? And while there's not like an insane amount of detail to the body of the car itself, I think that's honestly a really good thing, because Snoopy as a cartoon character is innately easy to draw and was designed to be easy to draw by the creator of Peanuts, because, well, he's drawing him over and over again. Why make a character that is really complex to draw over and over and over again? And I really do think this car has done a good job of recreating that simplicity in a different form. And overall, basically what I'm trying to say is that I'm a fan of this Snoopy car right here. I quite like the Snoopy car, I'm not gonna lie, y'all. I'm a fan of it. And overall, for me, it deserves a 10 out of 10. It deserves a 4 out of 4, a 10 out of 10. This is a great little vehicle. You know, I'd drive this. If this was a real-life, full-size car, I'd drive this, I'm not gonna lie, y'all. And for me, yeah, quality-wise, details-wise, references-wise, just how cool it is in general, this is a 10 out of 10, and I am very happy with this little die-cast model right here, and I'm very happy that I received this as a gift on Christmas from my parents. Yeah, this is a great gift without a doubt. And if you guys are a fan of Peanuts, I definitely do think that this might be a worthwhile purchase if you guys are in Japan. Now, I was doing some research about this model before this video today, and I saw some people listing like this little model online for like over $10. Is it worth over $10? I don't think so. In Japan, I don't know how much it cost. I want to go and clarify. I don't know how much this gift truly cost. I don't ask my parents how much Christmas gifts cost and stuff like that kind of thing. But what I can say is that it probably wasn't over like $4. Do I think this little model right here is worth $2, $3, maybe even $4? Yeah, I definitely have to say it's worth $2, it's worth $3, and if you're a fan, it's definitely worth $4. But above that, it's just kind of like, okay, that might be a little bit too much, and especially at $10, you really have to be a huge enthusiast of both Tomica and Peanuts to want to purchase this. But yeah, for like $2 to $3 to maybe even $4, this is absolutely a worthwhile purchase in my personal opinion, and I am very happy with my little gift. I have no complaints on my behalf. I will acknowledge a very solid 10 out of 10 little car, if you ask me. I quite like the Snoopy car. I quite like it. And I hope you guys have enjoyed watching today's video. I think I said everything I wanted to say. If I missed something essential about the Snoopy car I featured during today's video, of course, make sure to let me know what that is in the comments down below. And of course, also make sure to like and subscribe. Check out everything in the description down below. I have lots of essential items all down there. And till the next one, y'all, stay safe in peace and have a great one.